Spent 3 hours fixing a $5 USB drive after an employee destroyed it. Now I'm on paid leave while the company pays for data recovery. I work for a corporation where users handle enough sensitive information that they could commit at least 2 to 3 felonies with every little query they touch. Because of this, we have a ton of security policies that, while extreme, are understandable. However, the actual implementation of some of these rules seems borderline insane. Still, the attempt to maintain security isn't a complete failure, even if the application gets ridiculous at times. So, it's a quiet Friday morning, and I'm sitting around waiting for a ticket to come through or something else to do when I get a call. A user can't log into her computer, but there's no ticket because, well, she can't log in to open a ticket. It's a pretty standard issue, network login problems, but it could be anything. The computer could be unplugged, or the login credentials could be corrupted. Users can be pretty careless sometimes, you know? I head up to her cubicle to investigate. Everything's plugged in, and the computer power's on, but there's no internet. I switch the network cable with her neighbor's, and sure enough, her neighbor's computer connects fine. I log into the local admin account to check for network issues, and there it is, the onboard network driver is corrupted, and I can't roll it back. Great! Now, this is where the fun begins. To fix this, I'll need authorization from cybersecurity to use a USB drive. But wait, there's more. The computer case has USB ports that are physically blocked with superglue, so I'll need to open the case to access an internal USB port. And to do that, I need a key to the case that my supervisor has to sign off on. Oh, and I have to submit a ticket and document everything in the system too. I'm already dreading the paperwork. Spent 3 hours fixing a $5 USB drive after an employee destroyed it. Now I'm on paid leave while the company pays for data recovery. Part 2. I quickly run back to my office, download the necessary network driver, and email it to my boss. Then I walk over to his desk and say, "Hey, boss, I emailed you the network driver for the computer. I need you to submit the authorization form to cybersecurity so I can use a USB drive." Yes, it's really 2 separate forms, because apparently, the simple act of using a flash drive is an entire process. We send the forms to cybersecurity and wait. Half an hour passes. No response. I can already feel my patience wearing thin. My boss calls cybersecurity to get an ETA. 10 minutes later, the request is denied with the explanation, "Just email the file." At this point, my frustration peaks. The person who's reviewing the request is the biggest idiot ever. She has 0 experience in cybersecurity, and her only job is to enforce rules that she doesn't even understand. She spends most of her day helping people reset their passwords, which should tell you everything you need to know about her capabilities. My boss spends another 5 minutes on the phone trying to explain that he can't email the file because the user's computer doesn't have internet, which is the whole reason the problem exists in the first place. After that, he has to go up to her boss to explain why she's an idiot. Another hour passes, and finally, we get approval to use the USB drive, and my boss texts me to grab the form, his spare keys, and the USB drive. Spent 3 hours fixing a $5 USB drive after an employee destroyed it. Now I'm on paid leave while the company pays for data recovery. Part 3. Now, armed with the approval, I return to the user's desk. She left a note saying she's making a Starbucks run, so I start powering down the computer and prepping to open the case to insert the USB drive. Just as I'm about to insert it, someone suddenly yanks it out of my hand, tosses it on the floor, and starts stomping on it. I'm standing there, shocked, as I try to process what just happened. "Who the hell are you?" I ask, now extremely frustrated. The person who stomped on the drive says, "USB devices are banned." I reply, whoa, first of all, I have authorization from cybersecurity. Second of all, that's company property. And third of all, you just destroyed evidence. Naturally, I call my boss, who's still dealing with cybersecurity's incompetence, to explain the situation. But this time, cybersecurity overhears and decides to open a file on mishandling suspect data due to the destruction of the flash drive. A few hours later, my boss shows up with another USB drive and more paperwork to fill out. I spend the next hour filling out forms with cybersecurity about the destroyed flash drive, and I have to write a statement explaining the incident and confirming that the USB drive was authorized for use. After all this, I had to answer to accusations of using a USB storage device, despite the fact that I had explicit permission. All of this, mind you, was for a simple network driver installation. 3 hours later, I've successfully reinstalled the driver, and now the company has to pay for data recovery specialists to inspect the USB drive. Why? To ensure there was no malicious data on it. What was on the drive? Nothing, just the driver I downloaded. It was a $5 USB drive, and now the company is spending who knows how much on data recovery. If the drive hadn't been smashed, cybersecurity could have just checked it themselves in a matter of seconds. The silver lining? I'm on paid leave while they investigate. If the recovery process confirms what I said was on the drive, I'm clear. But honestly, it would have taken about 8 seconds to verify, but now I get to collect paychecks for doing nothing while they scramble to recover nothing. Oh, and I get to go home early on a Friday.